Just me? No.
Loser.
I don't know what that is. Okay.
Old Man River.
Oh, no.
That old man river.
Stop that. What are you doing?
Welcome to the second infusion of the Dragon's Teacast.
Thank you.
I am the T-Man. That is Nick. And that is John. I hope you can see me looking at them.
He actually looked at the opposite person,
No, he didn't.
but he might have.
Anyway. The dragons came.
The dragons came! The pizza finally arrived and it fucking just ate everything.
It's delicious.
It is delicious!
The pizza, it was the greasiest cheese. You could see it dripping. Dripping oil all over. The oil's flammable.
And so is the gold, apparently. It's been liquefied. She could have solved so many of her problems right then and there.
No, the gold was already delivered, I think.
No, they were delivering it. They were still in the process of that.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
that was a well-set-up scene, but
Cersei had some weird kind of phrasing then, because, well, what she said was, she said to the Iron Bank guy, or the Iron Bank guy said to her, "This is the fastest we've ever seen a repayment," and then he was like, "Okay, well, this is a nice little relationship we got here. Maybe we can,
invest in something.
Keep going with this little."
Yeah, remember she said, "My brother is overseeing the transfer as we speak," and he also said, "After gold gets here." He made a point of that.
Do what after the gold gets here?
We'll consider your payments, whatever, and then we'll talk about future payments after the gold gets here.
Yeah, I think though that was a different scene, and then somehow it got there, and then okay.
Trust us, Nikolai. The gold was now it's melted, but it was being transferred.
Well, I had a different conversation where we concurred that it was the food stores of the entire kingdom that was there. In any case,
that was another problem that she could have solved.
in any case. Why did they destroy all those precious resources?
They didn't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, her eyes were burning red at that point. Jakara! Burn it!
They still should have focused on, the guys that were trying to kill all of them, rather than...
She probably thought it was their supplies, so she was probably just,
their supplies, or maybe that there were other soldiers or things.
Either way, it's something that you could take over, rather than... but if they guys that were actively trying to hurt everyone.
But if they did that, we would have gotten less dragon action, Nick.
And also less Drakari.
No, we wouldn't. Just a different direction.
Oh, I meant to say we also would have gotten less Dothraki.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, they messed stuff up. Of course, they were not ready for a fight. They set up that scene really well. They're like,
they
all
did.
Right. So we've got people... we got some stragglers. If they don't get up here quick, we'll never be able to defend ourselves. What's that noise? Distant horse,
So
Indians!
They set it up really good, because at first I thought it was like the swooping of wings.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, no, it's horses. It's the Dothraki. And then I'm like, oh yeah, it's both! Yes! Best of all worlds.
Yeah, and so it also wound up to be very beneficial for Daenerys in the long run. Like, her dragon's injured, but now she knows that they have a weapon that can injure a dragon.
Well, not anymore.
What? Well,
at least they have one less.
They have the schematics. I'm sure they can build it again.
Yeah, they can.
But, that could have been really... Like, that would have been devastating had that killed one of the dragons.
My butt was clenched the entire time. Out of all the things to kill...
That entire battle was probably the best battle of definitely the season, but I think of last season too, which is saying something.
The Battle of the Bastards was the great battle.
I still think Battle of Bastards was better, but not by a lot.
Choreographed?
Yeah.
Or what do you mean?
That was better choreographed. That was better choreographed, for sure.
The Battle of the Bastards,
I think
that was a battle. This was a slaughter.
This was more like, yeah, go!
Yeah.
That was more...
Kill all the things!
That was more impressive.
Yes.
But this was more hype.
Yes, this was a setup for hype. I mean, it also did a good job of sort of making me feel kind of bad for them because, I mean, they're just being vaporized. I mean, that was tough.
They literally turned into
Let's stand close in the line.
Pompeii ash
That's what they were
statues.
telling them to do.
Okay.
Hold the line. Take cover.
Hide behind your shields, guys.
I mean, there was nothing you could do against that thing. That was brutal. That dragon.
It was beautiful.
Yes. Oh. Whatever else happened in that episode? The Starks were united.
The Starks were kind of united. Arya is so awesome. She's the character I wanted her to be since book 3, I think.
Let's say book 2. I don't know. No one's going to argue with you.
Yeah,
Sure, book 3.
whatever.
That was when your desire
No one's
started.
going to argue. Yeah. Only I expected her to be blind, so...
Yeah.
Who cares?
I actually took
cool.
Brienne on that fight. Like, when they were going to start sword fighting, I thought I took Brienne.
So did I.
You mean you thought she was going to win?
Yeah.
I
I mean,
didn't.
granted, it was a sparring match, so,
Yeah.
you know, there was only the time where
was
she kind of
probably
lost
holding
herself. But even still, I mean, had that been real sword swinging, Arya would have had her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, because of that initial surprise, and that's what Arya kind of relies on. But
Assuming that Brienne wasn't holding back because she was sworn to protect Arya, and, you know...
it started that way.
It
But
did.
by the end of it, like,
But then she's
it
like,
got
oh,
serious
this
after you
is
kicked her
fun.
down. Yeah.
Hey, we can have real combat. I recognize you.
Yeah, I recognize you. When Arya did that spinny kick up, you know, to stand up again, and then when whatever that was, the bass or whatever, the dawn, it got serious at that point, and
Yeah.
they were at worst even, you know.
Yeah.
Man, that was cool. But I mean, the reuniting of the Starks. So now we have the strung out on life, three-eyed raven Bran.
Strung out of life.
My brother died for you. Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
I'm the three-eyed raven.
Yeah. Oh, that was a little bit. We have the blind, but now has an extra blind with an extra sense assassin Arya.
Yeah.
And then Littlefinger the second, Sansa. I mean, she's kind of fallen behind a little bit.
I think she's more Stark proper.
Yeah.
Than Littlefinger the second.
Oh.
In the book, she was definitely ain't going towards that path, but she's a Stark proper. She upholds all their values.
Well, we'll see. Choices will show that. I just like how quickly she pointed out. You know, Littlefinger gave Bran that dagger, and instantly she's just like, he's not a generous person. You know, and just instantly, unlike the rest of the Starks, instantly knew his motivations and was
she knew
wants to
that
sleep with
she
him?
had a he had a motivation, and I don't think she knew what it was.
He wants to sleep with you, Bram.
She you have your mother's eyes.
And her legs.
oh.
I don't think that she knew what the motivation was, but I think any of the Starks would have been like, even the dead ones would have been like, that's not something he just hands over.
This might have been just in the show, but it seems to me the Starks are far more interested in their own actions. You know, like
As opposed to
anyone else. Like, Littlefinger is always like, what motivates people? I'm going to use that. You know, other people, always getting them to do his bidding and what he wants and whatever else and taking them out. But he's not really too concerned about what Littlefinger's doing at the time. Like, Littlefinger, even in his own scheme, seems to be like a background figure. Versus the Starks are always like, you make the judgment, you swing the sword. You know, well, that's nice, but what are we going to do? You know, they really don't care what the motivations are for, like, why Jorah was a slaver or anything else. It was just like, actions are what matter, and what I choose matters most. And like even Robert, the King of the North, I'm in love, so I'm going to marry. Like, it wasn't so much what's best for everybody else. Jon Snow, he's sort of beginning to bridge that gap. With they won't choose, they chose to follow me as king, but it's all about his choices, his decisions. Sansa is very much
responsibility, and I took the oath for the Night's Watch, and
so he's growing.
It's not
a bit.
Really like, well, the Night's Watch told me to do this. It's I have a responsibility for the Night's Watch.
Right, and what's the motivations for people? Like, he's just like, this is what I think is right, so this is what's going to be done.
Yeah, you're right. They all have a tendency towards that.
Yeah, and then Sansa's gotten out of that totally. Like, she just is really. And this suits her, and even when she's looking around in the last episode at the armor that wasn't being leathered.
Armor leathered?
Yeah, she's developing this eye, so I see her sort of following in maybe a parallel path, hopefully closer to the Starks, but a parallel path to Littlefinger.
Yeah, Littlefinger though he's kind of hard to grasp in the show because a lot of his thoughts are. And schemes are not readily apparent. In the books, he's very self-focused. He's going back to what we were talking about before. He's a bit of a Malfoy. Like he's self-focused. Or he's outwardly like he pays attention around him, right? He knows what's going on. He can kind of read the room and think of the greater implications, but he's always got his own ambitions in mind. Like, he gave the dagger for a reason. He's his own gain.
This might have been acting, and it might have just been my way of taking it, but the way that Sansa said, I hope Jon will be back soon, seemed somewhat insincere. She because Arya's one of her first words, or one of her first sentences back was, "Oh no, it was one of them. Jon left you in charge," and she's like, "Yeah," and then sort of softened that she's like, "Oh, I hope he'll be back soon." Like, I think that that was partially genuine, but also partially just like, I think that she enjoys being finally in control of her own destiny.
Yeah.
But I think that she feels slightly guilty about that.
It could even be and this is like really good acting if it is. It could be I can't wait until he comes back, but like unconsciously, I really love being in charge.
So that's what I mean. I don't know if it's me reading into that too much, but that meeting with them in the crypt, it said a lot. They laughed off her list of names, then Bran just confirms that,
great.
And they're like, "Who else is on your list?" And they had this. There were so many good moments. So as hype as the dragons were, I really think that these sort of gold nuggets are going to be.
Yeah, you said what else happened in the episode?
Exactly,
and the answer is a lot. Actually, not a lot happened last episode, but a ton happened this episode.
Question number 1 for everybody. Will Jon Snow bend the knee?
No.
No, he won't? What I don't know why they don't do this is, hey, if you help us eliminate a threat, then I'll bend the knee.
Because he doesn't want to.
Well, then Daenerys had a good point. How far will your pride go? What's more important, your pride or the life of your people?
Yeah, that's a fair point. He's very prideful.
I mean, it seems like such a good answer.
It's a humble pride. It's like a humble brag, but
what is worse, death
more
of my
contradictory.
people? Death of my people or bending the knee?
He's got a point, though. Like, his leadership is very tentative. The Northerners, they are fairly loyal, but I mean, they've been through such a can I say shitstorm? I just did.
I've used the F word, so
recently, things are in such chaos that if he rides up there with the Targaryen, especially a Targaryen, I don't see that ending well for them. Like, at least a few of the people will go back to their homes, because they probably don't believe in the Night King totally until they see him. It's something else. There's too many bad feels, I guess. There's just a lot of chaos up there. And so I think that he would. So the Starks, we all know about the king who knelt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that a similar situation would play out relatively quickly, but it has to get there. That happened because the dragon just annihilated armies. And I think that if Daenerys proved that she was diplomatic, which by the next episode preview is not looking like the path. She's not taking the cultural path anymore. But I think that eventually Jon would bend the knee, but he just needs to do something right now.
She's definitely not going for an economic victory,
right? Yeah, melting the gold.
In her defense, I mean, Tyrion is making the right calls. Just he's being unfortunately outplayed. She shouldn't hold what's been happening against him, but I can understand why she is.
Yeah.
Her excuse being, well, Lannisters, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, have you all watched the next episode preview?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't really remember it.
Okay, so the thing that stands out is that she's with her dragon. She says, "I'm not here to murder people. You have a choice. You can bend the knee or die." And I mean that's.
I'm not heard him like. I'm not racist, but black people suck.
Well, in this case, it's just like I'm not racist, but you're Westerosians, whatever they're called. Westerosians.
Westerosis, yeah.
We're Westerosies. You are meant to serve me. I mean, that's pretty much what she's doing. I mean, that does not bode very well for things going forward whatsoever. Ugh. I'm very disappointed in how that worked out.
Question
Well, we haven't seen that yet, so it could be a ploy.
Mm-hmm.
Question numero dos.
First time.
Is Jaime gonna still be alive?
Yes.
On one hand, it would make sense for him to live. On the other hand, no, it wouldn't. He sank to the bottom of the lake thing with all of his armor on.
Yeah, that lake thing that just like that's the steep, like the sheerest cliff ever. Like it's like ankle high, and then suddenly like bottomless abyss.
Hey, I found the Titanic. How did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wonder. The important question is not. I think he will survive. The only reason they would kill him off is to make him a White Walker. But I think how he survives matters. Well, because
we never saw the head leave the body.
Yeah, the head didn't leave the body, so he just would rise from the abyss.
That line of thinking is so
right. I don't trust it. That's why I'm saying like the purpose of him dying. And I didn't think about that. If he dies, Cersei never knows who killed Joffrey.
Yeah, you're right.
But anyway,
so he's alive.
All they had to do was take
temporary plot armor.
Yeah.
All they had to do was take out that scene of him sinking to the bottom. That was unnecessary.
It was. I think that it's for point though, because I think that Tyrion might save him, and that will not look well. That will not look good.
He was already worrying about. He was standing there, like watching, like you idiot!
Stupid
don't
idiot.
do it!
Don't charge the dragon.
That was not well thought out, Jaime Lannister.
Hey, who pushed him off the horse?
We don't know. I think. Well,
probably,
I thought it was Bran. Brown.
Yeah, I think so too.
Or that guy who's been saving him left and right, who's they're making.
Oh, yeah,
they're trying way too hard to make into a main character.
The other guy who had sex with Cersei.
Some other Lannister.
The Cersei banging Lannister.
What?
Which one?
What was his name?
I thought he died.
Yeah. We're making a joke on how many of her own family she's
banged.
Damn it!
No, it wasn't. He wasn't a Lannister. He was at House Tyrell.
Yeah. We're talking about the guy that was he saved Jaime and they kind of gave him a nod.
It was your first. Yeah, the guy's like, it was your first battle. Yes.
Yeah.
How was it? It was glorious. Your dad's not here. I didn't know it smelled like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
he wasn't a Lannister. He was a
Random Soldier 1 that doesn't have
Tully,
a name yet.
I don't know. Wait, Tully.
I don't think they introduced him.
Whatever army it was with, he wasn't a Lannister. He was like an allied house.
It had to either been him or Bran, because it wasn't an imp-sized person. So that brings him off the table. I really doubt it was a Dothraki. That would make no sense. So, I mean, there's only so many players on the board. Like, it had to be one of those two.
Could have been that guy, could have been Bran. Are you looking up to see if that guy was a Lannister?
Yes.
He wasn't.
If you're wrong...
If you're wrong, you can hit my leg or something. I don't know.
If I'm wrong, I can hit your leg?
Yeah.
Win-win.
No, I mean, if you're right.
Nope. Too late. I get hit in the leg.
You know what I meant.
Knock, knock.
Anyway,
what else happened that episode?
Jon showed, not Cersei, the good one, Daenerys, the cave full of
the runes,
the things that he drew with chalk on the wall.
The things that he drew?
Yeah.
You think that was his art?
Yeah, he's like, hey, look, proof. And then tried to seduce her. Come look at my cave drawings that I made. Here's the proof. You want to bang?
He totally didn't make those. And he also totally didn't try to.
That's what everyone's saying.
Oh, that's another thing that happened. Theon and Jon.
Oh,
that was awkward.
Yeah, awkward.
How's it going, Jon? So, yeah, killed your people. High five.
What you did for her is the only reason I'm not killing you now. It went better than I expected.
It went as expected.
Theon's having a bad month.
He's having a bad life.
Yeah, that's true. Was there anything else? I don't think there was.
So you don't think that there was any almost seduction going on in that cave?
I think that there was some mutual attraction, which I hope dissipates.
Well, it's like the Onion Knight said. I wasn't your heart you were looking at, I saw.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This seems to be a very divisive issue. on like whether anyone whether people want them to get together or not.
I want them to bang.
Me too.
Like, really badly. Come on, I want to see some incest.
I just want them to respect each other as individuals.
No! No! This was meant to be.
You're either for or against it.
Yes.
You're either angry if they are or angry if they don't.
I wouldn't be angry so much as disappointed.
That's close enough.
It's like a conversation you never expected to have, like with your family. Like, I'm not really angry you banged your cousin. I'm just disappointed. Aunt, sorry.
I think.
Yep, and I double checked. It had the gold as well on the way to King's Landing.
So you could hit his leg.
No, hey, you didn't find out that he was a Lannister.
Knock, knock.
Anyway,
Nick doesn't like my jokes.
Anything else about Game of Thrones?
We saw that the First Men and the Wild People, whatever they were called,
the children,
they fought together.
Yes.
Which kind of changes the lore a little bit. Because in the original lore, the First Men came over and killed the children, and that's, how things happened.
Well, it doesn't go against the lore necessarily.
No. Oh, also, I think it was last season they said that the children made White Walkers to fight the First Men.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's true.
I forgot about that.
They did, and then we're like, oh no.
So you think it was a let's make a Terminator to kill all these rebels, and then they're like, oh man, these Terminators, they kind of activated Skynet. Can we team up, rebels?
Ooh,
like that.
We'll find out.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
That could be.
Yeah. So
all the lore starts from somewhere. George it could be all true.
Actually, this is kind of pertinent. I was having a conversation with a writer friend of mine, and he got me really nervous. I've always had a decent amount of faith in Martin as a writer.
To do what?
to finish the series in a rather satisfying way.
Oh,
And
that was your first problem.
well, at least in a way that made sense or something. Anyway, he's followed a lot of pathways that are really, really archetypally sound, despite his, page-to-page chaos. But
Such as?
get into that later.
Okay.
I'm trying to... This is a rather complex point.
Yeah, lead the train on the rails.
Yeah, exactly. And my writer friend reminded me that he has an assistant to keep track of all of his side plots. And I thought, well, sure.
Oh, that's a job I'd hate to have.
Yeah, God.
Especially with the show going on.
Right. Oh, so it's just like, double your work at least.
You'd have to not watch that show.
She'd just have to be locked up. But anyway, this seems to indicate to him that Martin has no idea what he's doing. Like, he doesn't know exactly where this is going to end up. And ever since that conversation, I'm increasingly afraid that there's more truth to that than I want to admit.
So going back to Harry Potter...
Okay.
Rowling planned that
Spoilers.
very clearly.
Yes, spoilers.
Spoilers. Snape kills Dumbledore. Going back to Harry Potter, it's very clear that Rowling planned that meticulously ahead of time.
You know what would have been the greatest spoiler of all time?
What?
Just by the way, it wasn't that... Well, it was terrible that people spoiled that Dumbledore is killed by Snape, but it would have been a great spoiler to say Harry kills Voldemort with Expelliarmus. Harry defeats the Dark Lord with his disarming spell. That is just such an odd thing out of context.
Yeah, but, it's kind of something that you could see.
No! What? He has a literal army at that point, and, the Expelliarmus is the answer.
Yeah, but,
it's ridiculous.
Throughout... He's used it so much throughout the book that they say, hey, it's the reason that people are dead because you used that spell and they caught on and realized that you were the real Harry.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Anyway, yeah, so that was planned meticulously ahead of time, over decades, right?
Oh, yeah.
More than one decade? I think
at least a decade.
I think the first one was, 96 or something?
Well, instead of judging it by years, let's judge it by notebooks. It was planned over the course of dozens of notebooks.
How many notebooks she has?
Yeah, well, dedicated entirely to plot and characters.
In Martin's defense, the DBC creators kind of wings it too, so you can make good stuff while winging it.
That's true.
Yes, and the plot complexity of DBZ is entirely comparable to Game of Thrones.
Thank you. Yeah. So,
well, if it was for Dragon Balls, no, I got nothing.
Yeah, the level of complexity. This is kind of after the story, in a similar way to how psychology became footnotes on Freud. A lot of writing is going to become footnotes on Martin. Contemporary writing for a while is just going to...
You mean it
needs to
respond by that?
Yes. Very
it's
fundamentally.
Coming.
Right. And so this is a major thing. And so what he does is either going to put things in favor of old archetypes, old metaphors, new ways, not necessarily totally adhering to the unspoken rules of unwritten rules, if you say of you don't kill off main characters,
yeah,
and those sorts of things, but you still he hasn't killed off. It hasn't become because they're a main character they get killed off. It's really complex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of like you have a pool of main characters and they get killed off, and it's the as the pool shrinks, the further remaining characters becomes some lower in importance and others raise.
I know how to describe it. Martin does not have the they're gonna die formula. Something like The Walking Dead, you know which character's going to die because either that episode or previous one, they get more screen time than they really should. And so you can kind of be like, hey, this character is being talked about a lot, they're going to die. And they die. With Martin, you cannot make those predictions. And he keeps it like that.
Yeah. So, a lot of things are going to become reactions.
Foreshadow.
Yeah.
If he does this well...
Well, he doesn't foreshadow things like that. He foreshadows things like John's parents or certain things in the book that I'm not going to say that never happened in the show. Like the ending of book 5.
I don't think they can even do that anymore.
They're not. It's broken.
So,
which I'm glad about, because that means
people get
new stuff in the book.
So, what I'm saying is, he's either going to do it well and he's going to open this door to this really neat place, or he's going to completely and utterly fail at it, and the door's going to shut hard. So I'm really interested. I really hope he's going to complete this well, and I really hope that it's going to sort of open people's, especially writers' eyes to certain ways of doing things that we can refine and get better at, in the coming centuries. But anyway,
once again, you should read Methods of Rationality. It will show you how to write a plot like this. Or it will show you that you can write a plot like this that's completely unpredictable and satisfy it, or conclude it satisfyingly.
I will consider it. But anyway, do we have anything else to say about Game of Thrones?
I don't.
Nope.
Alright, so Boku no Hero?
Sure.
Okay.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Boku no Hero. We arrived in a hospital room, and our main heroes are all pretty badly beaten up. And let me think. So they long story short, they decide to not take recognition for what they did, so that they don't have to get the consequences.
Did they ever say what the consequences would be, or was it just like, hey, this is going to be bad?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I think it was just like
I think they'd be like expelled.
Be in trouble.
I mean, it was a very serious. It was like they broke governmental regulations.
Yes.
So it would. I mean, just that they were in the most prestigious school for a hero course, they'd be expelled for sure. So that would be a bad thing. That would hinder them rather badly. Their teachers, by the way, got.
They got their licenses suspended.
Their teaching licenses is suspended and whatever else.
Something else. I think they got a pay cut or something.
Yes. They got a pay cut.
I found this kind of interesting. Just, like, taking it out of the plot for a minute. Like, just the story. I mean, it's an interesting thing. Like, what do you think about that? That they gave up the recognition in order to avoid the consequences. What do you think about that from a storytelling point of view?
Well, as heroes, they don't need the recognition.
Right, that's one side of it. But at the same time, they're depriving people of knowing what actually went on.
Yeah.
Like, is that...
That's why I was wondering about what the consequences were, because if the consequences weren't that high, like if it was, you're suspended for... If it was something like what the teachers got, where it's like you lose your license for 2 months or something, then I would say the heroic thing to do would be to take the consequences, because... Well, I don't think that what they did was that bad, but it was against the regulations or whatever, so fine. But
we're also kind of removed. They did a good job of making it real, because Stain wasn't just, like, apprehended.
Right.
I mean, he had third-degree burns all over his body. He had, like, internal hemorrhage. I mean, he had...
He was solidly defeated.
Yeah, but, I mean, in a really...
Brutal.
Yeah. And in a way that wasn't authorized. I mean, this was... they met him out on the streets. They didn't... They used combat powers for combat on their own accord. So I mean, like, being there and having seen it all, we know exactly what went on. Not being there and not seeing it, we really don't know what happened, and their fear is that if they open up the door to this, like, it's very political, like, it's total crap.
It could lead to vigilantism.
Yeah, which is what
they are.
Right.
No, they're not vigilantes. They're actually policemen.
There's a spin-off manga where it's about vigilante heroes.
I should read that.
Yeah, you should.
So, in my opinion, Stain did nothing wrong. No, not fully, but he had a point. This has become some stupid government politicized bullcrap.
He met his goal, and ironically, his defeat kind of...
It inspired all villains.
The consequences to the guys who defeated him just proved his point more.
Yeah.
You're going to be punished for stopping
doing the right thing.
Doing the right
Saving
thing.
lives.
Saving the guy's life. Being a completely just hero. Coming to help your friends. All this stuff. And the one who gets the credit is Endeavor, who...
is untouchable.
I think,
politically untouchable.
Untouchable, but I think he's kind of like... He seems like he's in it for the money or something.
Endeavor?
Yeah.
No, I think he's more in it for the ego and glory.
Yeah,
Like, I want to be number one. That's why he bred a son.
That's why he had his son.
That's what I meant. He's not in it for the right reasons. So basically, the opposite of the truth is what the official version is. The version that Stain was criticizing is what came to become the truth. Instead of the justice version. Yeah.
So he was right. I just realized this. Do either of you find it a little bit ironic that when they gave Stain's backstory, they showed his faceless self protesting the current world and trying to write things and talk with people and distribute everything, and everyone just blew him off. And then after that, they started to talk about what he had. It was charisma. Like, does anyone else find that a little bit odd?
Well, there's the type of charisma that the heroes have, where it's like think of what's her name, the giant lady?
I don't remember. Giant lady. Sure.
Mount Lady. She comes in, like, her first appearance as a professional hero is she comes in and basically steals a kill, right?
Yeah.
She comes in and kicks the guy out of the way, and she's like, "Hey, I'm Mount Lady,
and look at my butt."
Like, that's
how did she not get noticed before that? Like,
well, presumably she can, change sizes.
Right, I know. How did she never get noticed before that?
She probably just got the license to be able to do stuff like that.
So, like, the first time, she just altered her shape just slightly, and she's been training off in the mountains somewhere or something, where she wouldn't have been... Like, where do you not see someone of that size?
She was probably, like, a new graduate or something.
Yeah.
But
or newly...
If her suit expanded that much, she must have been that size at some point. Like, how do you not notice someone that big?
Or she whatever she's touching expands. I don't know.
That's hot.
Ooh, that's an interesting idea.
Anyway,
new waifu material.
Speaking of waifu,
Frog Girl,
John's waifu is going to be introduced, or she was this episode.
I still don't know why she's going to be my waifu.
I know why she's going to be your waifu.
Is she the girl with the headphones?
Yeah.
I don't know why either, but I Okay. Anyway, what was I talking about?
John's waifu.
Mount Lady. Yeah, there's the type of charisma where, like, you come in and you're this cool hero, and, like, even though it's, like, a kind of terrible, like, thing to do, like, there's Woodman, and he's doing his job and arresting the guy or whatever, and she comes in and takes the credit for it. Everyone's like, yeah, cool, Mount Lady. It's because she's got the hero charisma. That's different than, like, handing out pamphlets and being like, we have to do, it's different than being an orator.
if I was to try and use some type of charisma in a hospital to save sick kids, I don't think I'll do that well. But
What?
if it was like
you would
before...
never use charisma to save kids.
No, I mean to inspire
Guys, get better.
No, to like
Cure
inspire
your cancer.
to inspire people to help treat them and donate money and whatnot. But if it was like on a battlefield, I think I would have a little bit more of a charisma scored. If you know what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That wasn't quite what I was going for, but the point is, there's a difference between like. Also, his points, the points that he was making were different. I think, right?
No, they're the same
He
points.
was kind of like, oh, the thing's corrupt, but when he was a villain. Okay, so the core of it is this. When he was just handing out pamphlets, he's like, the world's corrupt, read my thing. It's like easy to toss and throw aside because it's just like, here's some guy in the street handing out pamphlets. But when you have this guy who can kill all of these heroes that are supposed to be the strongest people in the world protecting you against the evil, and he can kill every one of them, and he's like, the reason that I can do this is because they're weak and corrupt, and I am justice. I am the true justice, in that I am weeding out the false justice.
He doesn't use that many words. He just says you're worthless.
Yeah, but
You will die.
He kind of gets the point across.
Yeah.
And really, no one ever hears his words because
They dead.
they're dead. Yeah, no one ever sees his face until he's arrested.
So Stain the best waifu.
Man, does he make a good point. So he rouses all of the old retired villains and the young upcoming villains from their rest, and now we have this massive problem that heroes presumably are going to have to face.
Yeah,
So,
and they're not the hooligan villains that were in the disaster zone.
They introduced they look like diplomatic villains. They like, I know you have good
classy.
material. Yeah, like the mafia's back, guys.
Yay!
Oh well, there was the mafia, but I don't think that guy was a quirk villain. I think he was just like a, hey, look at this.
I don't know,
video.
But I like that they're it's not just like a bunch of combat power ready ones. It's just who knows, maybe they're selling bombs and stuff. That just those are already useful.
Yeah, well, there were those guys were already around, and I think they said that business was actually taking hits.
The business was taking a hit when All Might showed up, but now things might pick back up.
Okay, I got the opposite impression. I thought it was taking a hit because of they were scared that guy got taken down.
No, they're all really, really inspired, and they're like, well, I wonder where this guy's from.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of like, okay, so all these villains are coming in to join the party, but the business is taking a hit?
No.
Well, after this, every other local business will take a hit. They basically made a huge corporation of villains.
Yeah. Though the accessory companies, or whatever they're called, they said they were making stricter regulations.
Oh, joy.
Yay.
Well, that'll come into play later. But yeah, so that's in an interesting place. Corruption. I kind of wonder if any of them are going to turn away from the hero path and become sort of like an anti-hero, like Bakugo. Kacchan.
Yeah,
he wasn't there, and I'm sure that's going to piss him off.
Kind of yeah.
We'll find out next week with the
only
filler.
one that, oh god, the only one that wasn't there, and what did he spend his time doing? Getting a haircut.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see whether his character improves from that or goes down the drain and gets worse.
I just hope to see more Gran Torino.
Oh, and one of you guys.
Every time I hear that, I think of Gran Turismo.
Same. One of you guys made the correct prediction of One for All and All for One.
Yeah, I think that was me.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be All for None.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing now.
That's gonna be fun.
All for One is on the move.
So, that was that man, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And he's still alive.
Of course he is.
They really played that. That was like a loaded sentence. That man who killed your predecessor and put that hole in your stomach. Yes, that man, All for One, is on the move. Man, that was... All right, anyway.
That was good.
Yeah.
A good ending to that episode.
Mm-hmm.
I almost forgot about that.
And finally, we have good old Dragon Ball Super.
Shoot, 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 shoot. Oh, and the Sailor Scouts.
Yes. I love the way Toriyama just destroys, whatchamacallit, tropes. You know, usually they transform into like these beautiful things. Not this time. And for some reason, the internet did not, like half the internet did not get it. They were making fun of the magical girl trope. They just didn't get it. Come on, guys.
Why?
Everyone should know
what
this.
What were they saying?
It was like, I can't believe they repeated the scene again with the transformation. Like, yes, that's the joke. JPG.
Are you serious?
No, yeah. Like all over, like the DBZ Reddit forums and several of the Facebook pages. Like, why did they do this? It's like, you grew up in the 90s. You know damn well why they did this. You know this trope. You know it. Stop playing dumb. Well, yeah, but you know, if they didn't do it, they would
not get the joke.
Kids, I'm telling you.
Oh man.
Yeah, they did a really good job. And even like made fun of the concept, like in the thing when the Universe 6 got us rushed, like again from there.
Yeah, from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. Go my flowers.
Yeah, and the way 17 broke it up was just beautiful.
Yeah.
I cracked up when I saw that.
Me too. And he's just got this deadpan face, like, hey guys. All right, are we gonna fight now?
Why are you mad, bro? Even Topo's like, no, you don't interrupt that. It's funny because Universe 11 and 2 are the mirror universes, so of course they'd be the opposing type. One is Magical Girls, while the other is Power Rangers. So we got to see a little bit more 17 action. That was fun.
Yeah, 17 holding back the entire time.
I also loved how Vegeta didn't punch the lady because he was disgusted.
Yeah.
Not only did he not punch her, he dodged.
Yeah.
Ugh.
They spelled it out there too. You know, I dodged out of reflex because I was disgusted.
That was nice.
Are any of them left? They're all gone, right? No, the big one's left.
Yeah, the big one and the fast punching one. The one who
was
gets
against Goku?
strong.
The cat girl?
Yeah. No, the cat girl is gone. The other two are left. And now we get to see a Maiden's Anger, which I'm hoping will be another transformation to see more awesomeness. Hopefully we'll get to see... I'm still not reviewing the previews. So far, so good with that. I have not been spoiled. Hopefully we'll see some other characters take action. We also saw two Namekians for Universe 6. That's gonna be fun.
Really?
That was kind of exciting, yeah.
When the Xeno was going through the list, we saw two Namekians.
Oh.
Yeah. Basically a Piccolo knockoff and a Lord Slug knockoff. I'm curious to see if... Yeah. No, that's not Lord Slug.
Lord Slug is the one that was
From
in the
the movie.
movies. Where there was a fake Super Saiyan.
One of the movies that I've never seen.
Yeah. And, okay, remember in Broly? They're like, man, I missed this fight. And at the end of it, Piccolo goes, I noticed that none of you said Lord Slug, and I think that's racist. I mean, I guess it kind of was, but at the same time, there wasn't really much it added. Like, it wasn't that good.
So, like, most of them?
Like, most of them.
So yeah, hopefully we'll see some of them soon. Hopefully Piccolo will absorb them too.
Oh, I didn't even consider that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Give Piccolo another power-up. He needs
doesn't
it.
Doesn't have to be consensual?
Yeah. I guess. I guess. But hopefully they'll be like, oh man, Universe 11 is, they suck. Go ahead and absorb us because reasons. I don't know.
Yeah, like Jiren goes on a rampage or something else like that happens, where it's just like, well, our universe is gone, but Namekians, our brothers, still live within your universe, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or existence matters more than that. I don't know if that would happen, but that would be so cool. I never even considered that as a possibility.
So let's see, what other things that still need to happen have not happened? Gohan has not done his mystic stuff yet. Nor has he found like a new stage. That's bound to happen at some point. Mystic Gohan 2. Yeah. Goku's probably gonna find a new transformation. They've hinted that really strongly already.
Oh yeah,
really?
There would be a lot of people that would be very disappointed if he didn't.
I wouldn't.
I said
either.
Many people, not every people.
Yeah, but I'm most important. Piccolo needs his time to shine.
He's got so many transformations already. Can't he just not have one?
Maybe that's his next transformation.
His next transformation.
A character transformation. But just like...
he gets really smart all of a sudden. Wait a second. I get it now.
Math!
Focus my power.
Piccolo needs his time to shine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Piccolo have a power up than Goku by far.
Hit's gotta do things.
Job.
Okay, so we saw Universe 6 do their thing. Most of the people left as canon followed. We still gotta see Universe 10. I still want Gowasu, the Universe 10 dude, his last wish to be Zamasu. Because it's pretty much become a meme at this point. Like, half his dialogue was Zamasu! 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 And so, like, his final words being either that or something about GodTube.
Yeah,
GodTube?
Yeah,
Yes.
he introduced that. It's just YouTube for gods. It's just it's this silly dumb thing. It's not something
you
to
don't
think
remember that?
too much into.
That's how Zamasu saw Goku doing his thing in the Universe 6x7 tournament.
Oh.
And then Gowasu was like, or Zamasu was like, you watching that on GodTube? And Gowasu was like, I'm thinking about becoming a GodTuber. Which originally when I saw that, I thought it was just the translators just like playing a joke. But no, that's actually what...
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, that's actually what they did.
KaiTube. Yeah. And they would definitely memify it, just...
That pretty much covers all of that stuff. They took up a lot of time with the transformations.
Oh yeah, they did. Because they had to do it twice. Which I don't regret.
Correct.
Unlike many people, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I just don't get
Internet.
humor. This is like the dark age for humor. I hope to see that turn around. But that's a general thing. Like, because, I mean, if you break it down conceptually, like, in order to get it, you need to have to understand that you can be mean without being mean. Like, there are problems in the magical girl trope that you should address for it to get better. But in order to address it, you have to address how it sucks. And if you can laugh about that, then everyone's happy.
I don't
but
think
you can't
that's
anymore.
A problem. I think it's just like that's like it's they've transplanted the whole thing into the wrong genre.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
It's like it's not meant to be there, and everyone's kind of like, what's going on? And then 17 just shoots them mid sequence, and it's like, hey, you're not allowed to. I'm transforming here. I've got sparkles and everything. What are you doing?
Oh, I forgot. Golden Frieza still needs to make an appearance and fuck shit up.
Yeah. Golden Free. Ooh, and that would be interesting to see what their version of Frost, or no, whatever. Is it Frost?
Yeah, Frost.
What he'd do after seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to try a lot harder than our Frieza.
Also seems like more of a sneaky kind of
diplomat. Littlefinger?
No,
Sansa?
Stop it. No, more like he uses like poison and sneaky tactics, and less of a punch man.
So Littlefinger.
I guess Varys.
Wow, you know what I'm excited for? That's kind of funny now I think about it.
Like, imagine Varys in a sword fight.
I'm excited.
Loses.
I'm excited to see Frieza
He doesn't have a penis.
Fight somebody seriously that's not Goku. I want to see Frieza fight somebody seriously that's not Goku. He hasn't done that.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you think there's any possibility whatsoever? No, never mind. There's no possibility of Frieza going rogue in such a way that Goku and Vegeta, or Vegeta has to eliminate Frieza. Like, that seemed like something that they were hinting at early on, like, I will take... Or, like, that was one of the contingencies for Frieza to be part of the team, is just like, well, if he goes rogue, we'll take him out. But I hope it's like Hit or somebody, or maybe.
I think that would only happen if
Jiren.
Yeah, like that's how we see Jiren's power. He just bitch slaps Frieza around when he goes golden.
I think we've kind of seen his power.
He's scary.
Yes and no. We've seen glimpses. He took Kale by surprise, so there's at least that element.
That's an excuse.
Yeah, but it gives it gives us a taste of ooh, how powerful is he?
Yeah.
And with Frieza, it could be okay, he is that powerful. Goku transform.
Yeah, and they've done a really good job setting up him being the immovable object and Goku being the unstoppable force.
We still have 39 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been, 3?
Yeah. Somebody online took the clips and showed what it would be like if we just watched the full 5 minutes straight. It was really interesting. They switched around, who was the main character, and they had, several screens going on at once with people talking, with the main screen what you should focus on. It was really fun to watch.
That is pretty cool. That'd be like Zeno-sama's.
What was the total time?
5 minutes. Just what...
Really? It actually worked out?
A full 5 minutes thing of what the first 5 minutes would have looked like if you fit all of that stuff within an actual 5 minutes.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
That's cool.
That's a neat idea. Good job, whoever did that.
Mm-hmm. We can watch it after this.
Speaking of this, anybody else have anything to say?
Code Geass is on Crunchyroll.
Yes,
you can watch it for free.
Geass.
I started watching.
Lelouch dies.
Or does he? I posted that to one of our pages. Really good argument for why he did die, but didn't really.
I saw that. That'd be interesting.
I saw that, but I didn't watch it.
The more I think about it, the more I don't want it to be a third season.
I agree.
It ended too well.
I tend to agree. I love the ending. I really don't want them to give up that ending.
Yeah. It could be their GT. If it's good, sure, we'll take it. If it's not, alternate universe.
Yeah. Really good theory.
No, not even alternate universe, just fan fiction.
Yeah.
Really good theory. I hope they do well. Do they have the same writing team? Does anyone know?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I really hope so, because I love
some of the same people are involved, but that's all I don't know too much about it even.
I will add, and now I can add it with confidence and gusto. I love the English dub of Code Geass. Johnny Young Bosch is one of my favorite voice actors anyways, but the things that they do, they match the characters really well in my experience. But watching the Japanese sub of it, one of my favorite episodes of anime of all time was the ending of the first arc, the first season, R1.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons I love it so much is Jeremiah Godwald in the American dub. He's just absolutely batshit crazy. He says things like, behind from back. Orange is the color of my loyalty. He has like these random mood change in his voice. I didn't watch that in the Japanese sub, and I just watched it for the first time. And as far as I watched it, the way I saw it is. That craziness was an American invention. His tone doesn't change very much. They seem like they're trying to make him super intelligent and super articulate, and he's just like, from like the one that like behind from back, where his sentence structure is all fucked up. That sentence in the Japanese sub was, "You would hit me from behind," with very little emotion, and he's just like processing
like
it.
Robotic?
Not well. I mean, yes, and that doesn't have emotion, but it wasn't like. You would hit me from behind. It was like, you would hit me from behind. Kind of like, almost like a connoisseur. Sort of deep voice, rich, like collected, calm. Or sometimes just poetic. Like, I'm talking to you, Lelouch. I ask you, please die. It wasn't like, in the American is, oh, I'm begging you, please die. It was just like, great voice acting, great use of this story. So anyways, for those of you that, if you prefer subs, I'm generally on your team. Watch the English dub on Crunchyroll, free. And they're not endorsing this. I'm just saying, watch it. You can watch. I have DVDs. I have DVDs. I will give you.